Hello, gorgeous. So, over the past couple days, I've noticed kind of a theme in my life, which is expanding the container, expanding my container, expanding your container, expanding the container. And what expanding your container means is expanding the amount of abundance you're allowing yourself to have. So, whether that's your salary, whether that's what you receive from your partner, whether that's the amount of opportunities you're allowing yourself to have, that plays into expanding your container. But what really encouraged me to make this video was my best friend coming to me. She wanted me to talk to her and basically help her to get out of this worry that she has around her finances around an upcoming trip, right? So this all plays into expanding your container, and I feel like you cannot expand your container really without faith. Whether that's faith in God, whether that's faith in the universe, whether that's faith in your higher self, whether that's faith within yourself. You cannot do it without faith. And when I decided to deepen my faith, the lighting will be fluctuating throughout this video because the clouds keep covering and uncovering the sun. But basically, I noticed when I deepened my faith, life became easier. And also, it was a lot easier for me to cultivate my divine feminine energy because I felt protected. So, God, I'm just going to refer to it as God, Source, whatever you feel comfortable calling it, embodies both the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies, right? And it's just one energy source, right? What really helped me in my journey was understanding God will provide for you, God will protect you, masculine traits, right? But God will also nurture you. God also wants you to talk to it, right? Like a mother would. God is there for you all the time in a motherly way, but God also provides for you and protects you in a fatherly way, right? That is why you hear a lot of Christians call God Father, my Father, the Father, right? Because God provides that protection and financial security really for you. So when I started to realize this, when I started to see God as my provider, God as my protector, right? I was able to feel safe in my feminine energy, and I was able to let the same God download ideas into me, speak through me, speak to me, and allow me to create ideas, allow me to expand my container because I felt safe, right? So when you feel safe, you're allowing for abundance to come in, right? So when it comes to worrying about finances, what you really have to understand is abundance is the only truth. Scarcity is an illusion. There is no scarcity. Think about it. In the United States, or in the world actually, because with the online world, you're not limited to the money in the United States. There are trillions of dollars. There is so much physical currency, digital currency, energetic currency. There is no scarcity. There is an abundance of it, right? And say you're looking at unique clients, right? When you outline your dream client, there is an abundance of that specific client that you're looking for. There are billions of people in this world, so you can find however many dream clients you're looking for. You can find 10 of your dream clients. You can find 100 of your dream clients. You can find 10,000 of your dream clients because the world, our world, the universe, whatever it may be, is so abundant, and there is trillions of dollars. So why can't those dollars flow to you? There is never scarcity. In this day and age, there isn't scarcity. Abundance is the only truth. When I first started out with my faith, I baby steps. So I believe, okay, God will provide this for me. I get to be in my feminine. I get to relax. I get to let creativity flow through me. I get to do what feels aligned for me, and God will provide. That is like the key thing for me. Always knowing that God will provide, whether it's finances, whether it's the physical strength to do whatever you're doing, whether it's the dream partner, whether it's the family, whether it's transportation, whatever it may be. Having that belief deep down, always, no matter what it may look like, God will always provide for you. It is important to not react to your physical perception of reality, but to react to your internal perception of reality. Because when you continue to react to your internal perception of reality, that will become physical for you. What you believe is what you receive. What you believe is what you perceive. If you believe that you're a millionaire, you brainwash yourself that you're a millionaire, no matter if there's 1 penny in your bank account, one day you will become a millionaire, because you've tricked your subconscious, you've tricked your DNA you've coded your DNA into the DNA of a millionaire. You've tricked your subconscious into the subconscious, which belongs to a millionaire. So in turn, you become a millionaire. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. I need to stick. I didn't have any notes for this video, so I'm really just letting God speak through me. So one is trusting that God will always provide for you, right? Also, knowing that there's always an abundance of whatever it is that you may want. The resources are never limited, ever. You have that abundance of resources available. It's at your disposal, right? Another thing is knowing what's meant for you will happen for you. What's meant to be will be, right? So in everything, we can't see the full timeline, okay? Only God, only Source can see that full timeline. As 3D beings, as beings in this physical incarnation, we cannot see the full picture like Source can. So when something happens in your life and you think, oh my God, this is end all be all, so do not react to it like it is the end of the world, right? Because you cannot see the full picture. Say this thing that seems so bad in this moment happened so that you can go on this path, and this path led you here, and this led you here, and boom, you're living your dream life. Boom, you're in your dream destination, dream country. You live in your dream country. Boom, you have your dream body. You're with your dream partner. You have your dream finances. You drive your dream car. You have your dream family. You're helping people around the world. You're doing whatever it is in your heart to do, because these led you, like the butterfly effect basically. This circumstance led you here, and that led you here, and that led you here. Without this thing that you perceived as bad, this would not have happened for you. So it is important to know that what's meant to be will be, and that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for your highest good, right? Because you cannot see the full picture. So a big thing is to stop reacting to things you perceive as bad and start having a neutral stance on a lot of things. For instance, say that you get laid off from your job, right? And you're stressing, you're like, oh my goodness, this is the worst possible scenario right now. I just got laid off from my job. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna live? How am I gonna do this? Da, 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 da. But let's say you got laid off from your job, and now that you're laid off from your job, you have time to, I don't know, go to a coffee shop. And when you go to a coffee shop, you meet this woman and she says something to you that sticks with you, and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to explore this. You start exploring it. You see your dream mentor. Your mentor leads you to do that thing. Then you start allowing downloads to come through you. And you have creativity, you have inspiration, you have ideas for your dream business. You act on it, you create your dream business. Now you're making multi-million-dollars every year. But you thought that getting laid off or getting fired from your job was the worst case scenario. But if you hadn't gotten late, if that hadn't happened for you, you wouldn't be a millionaire, right? So it's that same way. Say, even with relationships, this has happened to me. Say you're so in love with someone and a breakup happens. Maybe they cheat. Maybe you just realize it's not for you and you're distraught. You're like, oh, or maybe they leave you. And you're like, oh, this is the worst possible case scenario. What am I gonna do? That was my person. I'll never find another person. That is scarcity mindset. The world, the universe, Source, God is abundant. Abundant. And if it's meant to be, it'll be, right? So say you break up with this person, and then when that breakup happens, you start to realize things in the relationship. Oh, okay, this happened. They tested my boundaries in this way. They broke my boundaries in this way. Oh, I have this standard, and they weren't meeting that standard. Though you start to realize those things, and you start to build your boundaries. You start to build your standards. You start to outline your dream partner. and therefore you attract your dream partner. But if you had not gone through that breakup, you would not be with your dream partner, because you wouldn't have done the inner, you wouldn't have been led to do the inner work. You wouldn't have been led to really look inside and see what you really want. And because I feel most of the time, or a lot of the time, if you get into a relationship without having done the inner work, it is easy for your judgment to be clouded, and you don't even realize the things that they're doing in the relationship until you break up and those blindfolds, those glasses, those sunglasses have been taken off, right? So when those sunglasses are taken off and you can truly see everything, you start to realize, oh, maybe that wasn't my person. And you will start to be thankful, like, okay, thank you so much that didn't work out, so now I get to have this person, my dream person, right? So just realize that everything happens for your highest good. Everything is working in your favor, and things are happening behind the scenes that you can't even see, that you didn't even know were a possibility maybe. Say even you have a desire and a key component for that desire doesn't exist. If you move in alignment, if you just trust, that desire can literally be created for you. So for instance, I was looking at apartments, right? And the apartment that I wanted, I had this desire in my heart for this apartment. The apartment that I thought I wanted didn't feel aligned anymore, and I was like, okay, it is time to pivot. This is not the apartment for me, but I want XYZ in an apartment, right? I wanted certain things in an apartment, and I was looking for apartments, and there was literally no apartments in my city that had all those things that I wanted. But I still moved towards my desire. I still had trust in my desire. Because if that desire was not meant to happen, it would not have been placed in your heart. Why would God do that to you? Why would God give you a desire just for you not to have it? If it is in your heart, it is available to you. And also, if you have visions of a desire, if you're able to visualize things, it's because you're remembering your future. Anything that can happen has happened. So you're just remembering your future. This desire is available for you. So back to my story. I continued believing that my desire was a possibility. What do you think happened? The exact apartment that I wanted was built. It was just built in December of 2023. It had just opened up in December of 2023. Like, they finished construction December 2023. I found it in January of 2024. My desire, the desire I had in my heart, did not physically exist yet, right? But because I still trusted, it was literally created. And this can be the case in so many scenarios, right? I was watching Mina Irfan, I believe you pronounce her name, I'm not sure. And she was talking about how her desire with her coaching business, right? But YouTube wasn't around. Like, YouTube had literally been created, that outlet for her to talk about her learnings and start teaching other women had literally been created for her. When you move from a place of alignment, when you continue to move towards your desire, when you continue to trust, the circumstances, whatever it is, will be created for you. Like, do not treat God as a peasant, which is what Mina said. God can create anything. Don't think of a place from scarcity, because God is so abundant, the Almighty, as you say, right? God can create literally anything. You just follow your desires, you just follow what feels aligned for you, and it will be provided for you, right? If that desire is placed in your heart, it is there for you. Nobody else can see that desire like you see it. It is your desire. It is meant for you. So act on it. So follow it. Follow your desires, and literally the reality will be created for you. An example I have with expanding my container was Sunday, actually, yesterday. My friend asked me to go to lunch with her, right? And typically on lunches, I'll spend about maybe $15 to $30 on my meal. That's typically how much I spend. So I was like, okay, that's my budget. My budget, really. And that was my container. That was how much I believed I was allowed to spend on a meal for myself. And when we went out, I found this place, and it was like a really nice place, and the prices were premium, right? But I was like, it's fine. Let me just go. So we were eating and we were enjoying ourselves. The food was so good. I knew the check would be more than I typically paid, and I had that in mind. So, but I was at such a high vibration this day. Like, I was like, okay, it's fine. God provides for me. But I noticed myself going into that peasant mindset, which is basically scarcity mindset, when I wanted dessert. Because I had bought a drink, we split an appetizer, and I got an entree, right? So I was like, dessert's gonna be more. Like, I was not supposed to spend this much. Like, this is coming to a lot. And then I like to tip decently too. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I should get dessert. Like, I have dessert at home. I have cookies at home. Like, I don't really need the dessert. And I was like, no, stop. You're not a peasant. As Mina would say, you're not a peasant. You are abundant. God is abundant. Why are you playing God's divinity down? Why are you playing down on, sorry, guys. Why are you doing that to God? Like, God can provide and God will provide. Why are you acting like this? Do not be a peasant. If you want your dessert, get your dessert. So I had the lady come to me, and the desserts weren't on the menu. You know, it's a fancy place that you gotta like order off the menu. So she tells me what specials they have for that day, and the first dessert sounded so good to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm not a peasant. I'm abundant. I'm getting myself dessert, right? I got the dessert. I enjoyed it. I had such a great time. And when the bill came, I was so happy to pay, and I tipped more than I'd ever tipped in my life. That bill for that meal was the most I had ever paid for one meal ever. By a long shot. Like, oof. But I felt so good paying. I felt so happy. I felt like, oh my goodness, I just expanded my container. I can now pay this much on a meal. And I always hear, when you spend money, it is important to spend it from a place of abundance, a place of joy, and a place of trust, right? If you spend money from lack, or like, okay, if I pay for this, how am I gonna afford this? If I pay for this, how am I gonna get the next thing? Like, oh, this is too much. If you're in your scarcity mindset, if you're in your lack mindset when you're paying for things, or if you're looking at it as a negative, like, oh, I have to pay for this, you're going to attract more of that lack that you're radiating. You're radiating lack, and you're going to attract that more, right? So when you spend from a place of joy, like, I'm happy to do this. I get to pay my bills. I get to treat myself to this premium lunch. I get to go shopping. I get to do this. I get to buy flights. I get to pay my car note. I get to have a car. I get to get gas. When you start thinking in that way, you are thinking from an abundance mindset, and you are attracting more of that abundance to you. So I was so happy to spend that much on a lunch. Like, I get to do this. I have the finances now to spend this much on a meal for myself. I really just expanded my container that day. And you also do this as you grow. Naturally, you expand your container as you grow, but I feel like people don't realize how much they can expand it. So say when you are 5, right? $10 is a lot of money to you. But when you're, I don't know, 12, $100 might be a lot to you. When you're 18, maybe $1,000 might be a lot for you. 5,000 might be a lot to you. 10,000 might be a lot to you, right? People, this might differ from person to person because we've expanded our containers differently. Some people might be here, some people might be here, here, and so on. So as you grow, not just with age, but also with your inner work and also with your belief system, your container grows, your container expands. So pretty quickly with my inner work, this year I've known about inner work for a couple years, and I've been doing it here and there, and I've really grown a lot over those couple years. But I feel like this year, it is only March, I feel like I've collapsed so much time with my inner work. Like, it's just been going like this. I've been expanding my container like this, like, ooh. So when you expand your container, you're expanding how much money you're allowed to receive, right? So say say $100,000 a year is your dream salary, and you're making that, and you're doing your inner work. Oh my gosh, doing your inner work is so important. I'm going to explain that after this example. So say you're making your money and you're doing your inner work, and you're like, wait, maybe I want to expand my container to $100,000 a month, and you do that, and it feels good, and you continue to do your inner work, and before you know it, you're a multimillionaire, right? That's how expanding your container works. Or maybe your goal is to not look at price tags anymore when you go shopping. So start expanding your container for how much you're allowing yourself to pay on meals, right? And do it from a place of trust and responsibility. Because if you're doing this as an imposter, when you believe in that there's scarcity, the scarcity is still there. You can't fool Source, right? You have to actually believe this in your heart. Like, okay, I trust Source. I know what my life is going to be. I've seen the visions. I've seen the trailers. If you're on my TikTok, you know about the trailers to the movie that God has created for you. So I've seen the visions. I know what's there for me. It's okay. I can spend this and I'll get it right back, or it'll multiply, right? I can be saved. I can treat myself to this beautiful lunch. I can treat myself to a mani-pedi. And just that quickly, I forgot where my example was going. Anyway, oh jeez, what was I gonna say? Oh, okay, so inner work and wealth. Okay, I was actually gonna make a whole, that was the video I had in mind, my next video, but I'm just gonna insert that bit here. So I want to pull up the message actually, because somebody texted me about this, and let me just pull it up for you girls. Okay, I might cut the video too when I find the message. So one of my friends texted me, and they were saying that devils, like servants of the devil, are usually rich people, and he was talking about how rich people are typically unhappy. Making money has nothing to do with being unhappy. You can be happy and broke. You can be happy and rich. That, like, they're not connected at all. Ooh. What it is, why a lot of people are scared of money, are scared of being rich, or thinking that money is evil, is because you might see a lot of people who have not done the inner work come into riches, and nothing has changed. They're still unhappy. Money acts as a magnifier. Whatever you are, whatever you've embodied before the money, is what you'll still be magnified when you have the money. You'll be that 5 times. You'll be that 10 times. That is why you'll see maybe a lot of rich people off themselves. You'll see a lot of rich people talking about, oh, life was better before the money, da, 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 because the money has magnified their problems. The money has magnified their depression. It has magnified their belief system, right? So if you believe that money, more problems, you will have more problems. If you believe that having money will bring you fake friends, that's what's going to happen for you. If you are depressed but you're able to manifest money, the money is going to magnify your depression. If you're not secure, like you don't believe that God protects you, you're always watching your back, money is going to magnify that. You might attract getting robbed. You might attract people using you, because that was your belief system before you magnified it, right? So it is so important to do your inner work before you come into your riches, because when you've done your inner work and you're just happy to be alive, that money is going to magnify that. You're going to be so freaking happy when you have money. When you've made peace, when you've done the forgiveness, that's going to magnify that. It's going to be easy for you to forgive. When you've healed relationship wounds, when you've healed like father wounds, mother wounds, sisterhood wounds, you're gonna have amazing friendships. Well, you already have that before the money, but your friendships will be 10 times better when you have money. When you're just truly happy and joyous and you trust in God, when you believe you're protected, that money will provide more. Well, it won't provide the security, but that security will magnify. The money itself is not doing anything for you really. And I know like you can buy this and this and this with money, but it's not really changing anything on an internal level. Whatever you felt before the money is what you'll feel 10 times, 20 times with the money. It is not going to cure your depression. It is not going to heal wounds that you have internally. It is not going to heal your connection with anyone truly, because that is not what money is for. Money is a magnifier. That's why it is so important to do your inner work with money, because when you've done your inner work, you know how to be in a healthy relationship. You know how to follow your heart, to live in alignment. You know how to just be content. When you wake up, that is going to magnify when you have your money. You'll really be able to enjoy your riches when you've done your inner work, because there is no depression, there are no problems, there's nothing. Your shadow side is clean, it's pure now once you've done your inner work. So your shadows won't really come to light when you have money, because you've healed through it, versus someone who hasn't done the inner work. Their shadows are going to magnify. Their shadows are going to, in most cases, consume them when it gets to a certain point. And of course, when everyone receives money, they're gonna feel happy at first. They're gonna feel the joy of being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. But after a certain time, that shadow side starts to kick in. The stuff that they haven't dealt with before the money starts to kick in, right? So that is why inner work is so important. It's not that you can't manifest money without it. It's just you're gonna enjoy your money so much better when you've done it. So those were all my points. That is all I had to channel today. I hope you girls and guys have an amazing, lovely day. Until next time, bye.